Welcome back to Ready Set College. Today we are talking all things financial aid and what you can do to be as prepared as possible for that EFC, expected family contribution, or how the hell am I going to pay for this college education? I have not one but two guests with me today. The first is Chris Ingram. He is in studio right now. He'll be rejoining us in just a moment. Our second guest is Don Goettling. He is a mortgage planner and team leader with Skyline Home Loans in Valencia, California. He'll be joining us in the final segment today to talk more about the equity position in your home and what you can do to make some smart decisions, namely to understand the following issue. If you're applying on that federal formula and you're using the FAFSA, your home doesn't actually count against you in terms of an equity position. However, if you're applying to a private college or university and you're filling out a form called the CSS profile, which is pretty much a requirement if you're looking at the majority of private schools in the country, they do have the ability to leverage some of that equity. So it depends on how you have it positioned and is it positioned properly. Don will be joining us in a moment to discuss that. But before he does, let's bring Chris back in. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get on to a big topic I know you spend a lot of time on, which is how the idea of life insurance fits into this idea of how to afford college.
Right. So going back to something we talked about a little earlier, which is what assets are not going to count against you at all. If it's a concern, you need to start thinking about that ahead of time. So one of the areas is life insurance. And another area that's kind of lumped in with life insurance are annuities. So you can invest in annuities, put your money into annuities for your retirement and get them out of that equation, that formula. So they're not going to count against you as far as financial aid is concerned. Another one, though, that I love is life insurance. And I love it for a couple of different reasons. So if you use a life insurance, like a whole life or a universal life, variable universal life, something that builds up a cash value, you can start contributing to this policy, have your life insurance, and start growing a cash value. Now that cash value is going to grow based on the interest in the policy, whatever investments you choose if it's a variable policy. So your money's invested, it's growing, it's doing something for you and for your long-term benefit in that life insurance policy. Couple of things. So now that cash value, like we said, doesn't count against you as far as the formula is concerned. So that's, opportunity number one. Number two is that in a life insurance policy, when you have cash value in the policy, you can remove that cash value from the life insurance policy as a loan. And that loan and any of the earnings that you've achieved in that life insurance policy come out of the life insurance tax-free. So now you can dip into your cash value, dip into your earnings, pull them out tax-free, and potentially use that money to pay for college. So not only does it not count against you, but it's there available to you so that you can use it to pay for college. On top of that, one thing to keep in mind, though, is you don't want to lapse the policy. If you take out all the cash value and the policy goes belly up and you lapse it, then it becomes a taxable event, the fact that you've pulled that money out of the policy. So you don't want to do that. So that's something to keep in mind. But the other thing that I love about life insurance, nobody likes to talk about it, but heaven forbid something happens to you prior to your children going to college, the death benefit is then there and available to help pay for college. So, life insurance really provides so many different ways. Gets assets out of your holdings as far as the formula is concerned, give you a great saving vehicle that's available to help pay for college, and on top of everything else, provides this huge safety net of a death benefit, heaven forbid something were to happen to you.
There's a few things that as someone who has seen this from the other side of the table, I'm paying very close attention to. And as a parent, I hope you are as well. One is, this is another one of those rare win-win-win scenarios where you're fueling a betterment for yourself, you're providing an insurance coverage for your family in the event of some unusual passing, and you have the opportunity to leverage monies without any penalty to yourself. This is a very rare situation. And most people, in all honesty, in my walk of life, I see families screw this up. Let me give you an example of what I mean. And maybe you've seen this before, Chris. Mm-hmm. I had a family who consulted with my organization, Premier College Guidance, and they said, you know, I'm really concerned about how am I going to pay for college for my daughter. The only real tangible asset I have is my 401k. And they took a large sum, lump sum payment out of their 401k with the idea that this is going to make college more affordable. What it actually did was the opposite. So it's a taxable event, pulling the money out of the 401k, that raises your income for that year, which means you have a higher tax threshold, which means you in fact have more money to show, which means a college is going to ding you for more of that money. So this person, by trying to do the right thing, actually caused more harm than good. This is why we always recommend you find a qualified financial partner in your planning, not just for college, but in all things in life. So I encourage you to get in touch with Chris. His information is on the screen. Reach out, ask him questions. If you have concerns, he's a great guy. He's just like myself, he's a member of the APRG, America's Professional Resource Group, and we can't thank him enough for being here. Stay tuned. We've got another segment with Chris on Ready, Set, College.